So for this video, we're going to be solving composite functions. Starting with question number 1, we have f of x and g of x. We're asked to find f of g of x, which is f of 4x minus 1. We're plugging in 4x minus 1 into x, which means we're left with 4x minus 1 squared plus 1. If you do the math, I would assume you're going to be left with option C, which is, I believe, the correct answer, yeah. Negative 8x plus 1. Yes, that's it. Okay. What about this question, which is really important as well? We have f of g of x, which equals 4 square root x minus 3 plus 2, which of the following could be the expressions for f of x and g of x? Well, you simply plug in g of x into f of x and try and determine which of the following would give you the following composite function. Let's test the first one. We're searching for f of g of x, remember, which is f of 4x minus 3. I take 4x minus 3 and I plug it into x. I'm left with square root 4x minus 3. Is that the correct answer? Have a good look at it. I don't believe so. Okay, now we can move on. Second option, we have f of g of x, which is f of square root x, right? We simply take square root of x and we plug it into x. We're left with 4 square root x minus 3, which is definitely not the answer as well. Okay, option C, we're plugging in 4x plus 2 into x, right? Since we have f of g of x, which is simply square root of 4x plus 2 minus 3, which is square root of 4x minus 1, which is definitely not the answer. Last but not least, D, we have plugging in g of x into f of x. We're left with 4 square root x minus 3 plus 2, which is definitely the answer. So you take g of x and you substitute it for x. As you can tell, it was first 4 times x plus 2. Now it's 4 times square root x minus 3 added to 2. Okay, moving on to question number 3. Now this question is really important as well. We're searching for the domain of h of x, which is f of g of x. You take g of x, you plug into f of x, you get f of g of x, which equals to 1 over square root of x. And what's the domain in this case? Well, if I have a square root, that means the numbers must be greater than or equal to 0, right? But in this case, can I have a 0 in the denominator? No. So that means the numbers must be strictly greater than 0. And that is option C. Okay, what about the following question? We have the function f, which is graphed, and we have function g, which is given by the following. So the following is the graph of y equal to g of x. Now, you simply take a point. Let's take this point, for instance. When x equals to 1, y equals to negative 1, right? And then you simply plug it in. So actually, just so you don't get lost, you fix x. Let's say x equals to 1. Now you're going to be searching for its y value. And how do I do that? Well, you have g of 1, which equals to 1 plus 3, right? So that simply means g of 1 equals to 4. So when I fixed x equal to 1, its y value equals to 4, right? So let's write that down. And what else do they need? Oh, they're searching for y equal to f of g of x. I'm sorry. Y equals to f of g of x. Yeah. I was just doing g of x. I forgot to read this part of the question. Okay, we're still not done though. So yeah, this is not your y value then. We have f of g of 1, which is simply f of 4, right? Now what is f of 4 equal to? It equals to 2. Now that's your y value. I'm sorry, this is 4. Correct? So this is your x value. X equals to 1 and y equals to 2. And that's the point that you're going to be searching for. Y, x1, y2. Which is... Okay, perfect. We chose the wrong point. Because x1, y2, A works, B also works, C doesn't, and D works as well. Okay, that was a wrong assumption. Okay, let's take another point so we can cancel out more options. Let's take which point should we take? We could take any point. Let's take this one, to be honest. X equal to 2. Yeah, to be fair, it doesn't matter which point you take. But if it doesn't cancel out many options, then you're just going to have to take another one. So x equals to 2. What's the first step? Well, to find g of 2, right? Which is simply 2 plus 3. G of 2 equals to 5. But we're not done though, because we need to find the graph of y equals to g of 2. G of x, I'm sorry. And what is this equal to? Well, f of 5. Okay, we can't take 2 because we don't know what f of 5 is. We took 1. Let's take 0 for instance. When x equals to 0, we have, if we're unlucky, we're going to be left with another point. Yeah, I have to take another one. G of 0 is simply 3, right? Now, what is f of g of 0? Well, it's f of 3, which equals to 1. Right? When x equals to 3, y equals to 1. So we have 0, 1, and that's what we're going to be searching for. This one works. Gosh, this one works as well. This one does not. Okay, now we're left between A and B. We took 1, we took 0. Let's take negative 1. Okay, I'm not going to take negative 1 because they do share the same point. Oh, my bad. Okay, well, there you go. Why is it A, not B? Because we're obviously missing this part of the graph. That's it. So it's definitely A, not B. There's no need to take more points. That's my whole... Oh, wait, 1 second. Yeah, you just don't need to take any more points. That's it. You can just stick with A and move on. Okay, what about this question? We have the function g, which is given by g of x equals to x squared. And we're asked to find the following values. Well, we're asked to find when x equals to negative 1 for g of f of x. You write that down, g of f of negative 1. When x is negative 1, we get 0, right? So it's g of 0, which equals to 0 squared, right? So what do we write? We write down that the first point is simply negative 1, 0. Now what about the second one? G of f of 0, what do we get? Well, when x equals to 0, y equals to 1, so it's 1. G of 1 is simply 1 squared, so write that down, 0, 1. Now, last but not least, we have g of f of 1, which is simply negative 1, which is negative 1 squared, which is 1. So write down negative 1, 1. And, oh, I'm sorry, write down 1, 1. Okay, my bad. Wait. What did I just do? Yes, you write down 1, 1. I'm sorry, not negative 1, 1. Because x was equal to 1. Okay. So what do we have? We have negative 1, 0, which could either be B or C. Then we have 0, 1, which is C, 1, 1, which is C. Okay, so it's C, not B. Okay, moving on to the following. What is the value of f of g of 1? Okay, but it's a very simple question though. G of 1 is, yeah, you work inwards out. So you start with G of 1, then you move outwards. So we have G of 1, which is when x equals to 1, y equals to 2. So now I have f of 2. Now, what is f of 2? Well, it's 3. So now I have f of 3. What is f of 3? It's 4, right? So the answer is option D. What about this question? You take a point. Let's take x equal to 1. So when x equals to 1, we're searching for first g of x, right? G of 1, which is 2 times 1. G of 1 equals to 2. Then I'm searching for f of g of 1, which is simply f of 2, which equals to negative 1, right? So when x equals to 1, y equals to negative 1. That's what we're searching for. So first, you fix an x value. Then you find whatever function you've been given, let's say g of x or f of x. In this case, it was g of x, which is 2x. And then you go on and find its composite, which is f of g of x. And you find the value of f of g of x by looking back at the graph. So 1, negative 1 would be option D, 1, negative 1. That's it. Okay, we're almost there. We still have logarithmic, and that's pretty much it. I believe everything is pretty straightforward. Nothing is complicated. And yeah, this one. The function f is given by the following. You have the function g of x, which is the following is an expression for f of g of x. You just take it, you plug it in, and you're going to be left with option C. X minus 3 over x squared plus 1, right? Well, that's it. It's just going to be x squared minus 6x plus 9 over x squared plus 1. I'm moving quite fast, as you can tell, because we've covered this in the past multiple times. So I'm pretty sure you have a good knowledge of what's going on. And what about this one? We have the function f of x and f of g of 3. Well, yeah, you've been given the table of g of x and the function of f of x. So what is g of 3? When x equals to 3, y equals to negative 2, so I have f of negative 2. And then you just simply take negative 2 and you plug it into f of x. And your answer is definitely a fraction, which is option B. That's it. Because 9 times 4 is 36. Adding it to 1 is 37. Okay, what about this question? Now, we have the function c, which models temperature in degrees Celsius as a function of time, t in hours. Function p models electric usage in kilowatts as a function of temperature in degrees Celsius. Let k be the composition function defined by the following. So the following statements is true about function k. Well, what does it model? It models whatever p models, right? So p models electric usage. So it definitely should model electric usage, because whatever p gives you, that would be k of t, right? Which is simply electric usage. And why does that look like a 4? And as a function of temperature in degrees Celsius. Okay, what's the input in this case? The input is definitely time, right? And that's it. So it's option t is time, right? As a function of temperature. Yes, t is time. Because they mention of time t in hours for t greater than 0 or equal to 0. So it's definitely option A, and that's it. Okay, we can move on to, if you're still stuck on this question, oops. I'm sorry, if you still find complications with this one, just send me a message. And what about h of 0? Well, h of 0 is f of g of 0, right? So x is 0. And what do we have? We have f of g of 0. What is g of 0? Well, it's simply 1. So I have f of 1. Now when x equals to 1, we get negative 2, which is option A as well. Okay. Last but not least, question number 15. We have, did I mess up? Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't mess up on this. I just messed up on ordering food. Okay, where were we? Yeah, this is the last question. Okay, so the following statements gives a solution to the equation f of g of x equal to 4. We need 4 as the final output. And I'm going to actually work my way the other way around this time. So how would I get 4? When do I get f of x equal to 4? Well, that's when I have the following, right? And how would I get, well, that means this should be equal to 2, right? F of 2 equals to 4. And when would g of x equal to 2? Let's have a look at that. When would g of x equal to 2? That's when x equals to 0. So when x equals to 0, we have g of 0 equal to 2 and f of 2 equal to 4. And that's it. Isn't that true? So it's definitely option B. And why isn't it A? That would be a good question. Because that would be asking you to find g of f of x and not f of g of x. Correct? It would still give you 4. but we want f of g of x, not g of f of x. Okay, that's pretty much it for this one. Just gonna charge my battery really quick, and then we can do logarithmic functions.